Le monde est ainsi fait qu'il n'y a plus que des victimes. Les martyrs sont très rares.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Blood Splatter Chatter. We are live, and this is the finale of Summer Abroad, where I keep on saying the wrong numbers because we keep on adding more movies to it. But it's been now 10 movies, 10 foreign horror films that we have now reviewed over 6 weeks. And it has been like way even cooler than I ever thought it could be. It's been a very eye-opening experience for me. It's been fucking incredible. But Mr. Rock and Robbie Billups, welcome back. Tonight we are talking Martyrs from 2008. Happy you're here, man.
Dude, super excited to be here. I had never seen this movie. Surprisingly enough, never heard of this movie. But I'll tell you this, after watching this movie, I had to bring the tequila tonight. So here's the Blood Splatter Chatter.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, first time watch for all of us here on the panel, including Mr. Missing Link down there. Welcome back to Blood Splatter Chatter, my brother.
Certainly. Glad to be back. I missed Pan's Labyrinth. Family shenanigans. But this was the first time watch. It was interesting.
I hope so. I think there's no way you could leave this movie, no matter how you feel about it, without thinking it's interesting. Like there's zero chance this won't be a great conversation. But Mr. Fable, welcome back, my brother. Thanks for being here.
Station. Always a blast to be on these things, man. I love watching movies I haven't seen before being put on. This one's an interesting one.
Hell yeah. Two Gun, appreciate you guys popping in. All right, so this movie, the main reason why I put this at the end of Summer Abroad is because I hear about it all the time, get compared or just get spoken about in ways like, oh, it's very difficult to watch. And even like when I posted that we're doing this one, people are commenting, oh, this movie messed me up for weeks. Inja's been on the comments here talking about this movie messed her up for weeks. And it gets like compared to a lot. But it gets compared to when people talk about like torture movies or torture porn movies. People usually refer to this one as like the well-written one or one that's actually like a well-made film that you could categorize in the torture porn realm. But this is under the label, or I guess you would call it like New French Extremity, which is basically torture porn in France. At the same time that Japan was doing the Itchy the Killer shit and Hostel was going on, Devil's Rejects here. France was in the same thing. They were feeling pretty pissed off as well, clearly. And it's more or less just these brutal ass films that were coming out at the time and still are coming out. There's still things that are coming out more recently, like Revenge, that is labeled New French Extremity. But the big ones at the time were this one, Inside. I had it written down here. High Tension. No, I haven't. Has anyone seen any of the ones of the era other than this? High Tension, Inside, and Them is another one.
No, you think this A stands for France, bruh? Come on.
But I've yet to see any of them. But after watching this one, I'm very interested in checking all of them out. And the first thing I did after seeing it, because I appreciated the filmmaking so much, I'm like, okay, who directed this? What else did he do? And I'll pronounce it Pascal Lagiar, something like that. But I was like, what else did this dude do? This was his second movie. And then after this, Miramax hit him up and they wanted him to remake Hellraiser. They were like, you're the perfect fit for Hellraiser. Wow. He wrote the script. He worked on it for 4 months and he got pissed off for whatever reason. He got sick of the Miramax system and he didn't do that project. And he made another movie called The Tall Man starring Jessica Biel. And that's like the last. He's done a couple other things. He has not come back to America. He's been given offers. He is like fed up with the system. He's like, you find these people that you pick out for their creative vision, and then the American system just makes all their films like everybody else. So this dude, I feel bad because I look at this guy should have had a great career. I feel like
he would have made a great Hellraiser. For sure.
I agree, man. I agree. But it's just kind of a bummer. That's been an eye-opening thing. Like part of the reason why I did this Summer Abroad is because I'm not that familiar with so many of these foreign films. And I see a lot of them. You don't get the Hollywood ending when you're not in Hollywood. And I think that's what a lot of it is, like these bleak endings in so many of these films that we've watched, like Funny Games and Speak No Evil. And this one's a fairly bleak ending. Yeah, it's a very bleak ending, I should say. So, Robbie, first time watch, my brother. I am dying to know, what did you think of Martyrs? You guys in the chat too.
Well, I think this is the most fucked up movie I have seen in my adult life. This movie really kind of disturbed me.
Hell yeah.
Like for real. Like, okay, so I watched this movie Tuesday night and I'm like, oh, I should watch Last Action Hero. I'm like, oh no, I need to watch Martyrs because I'm busy Wednesday. So I got to make sure I get that done. So I'm already kind of in the mood for Last Action Hero, something silly and, you know, and I watch this and it starts and I'm like, all right, I get it. It's revenge, torture, all that kind of stuff. By the way, I was having a conversation with someone today. I'm trying to get to know him. And so I'm like, what kind of horror movie? You like horror movies? What kind of horror movies you like? He goes, well, I hate torture porn. And I immediately was like, I fucking hate this guy. Because I hate that term and I hate I hate the idea that people don't like those movies because they're great. Anyway, so this movie was really fucking disturbing. I finished this movie and I couldn't shake it out of my fucking head, dude. I started watching old episodes of 1984 Transformers into some other kind of zone, right? Still had a fucking nightmare about this movie.
Wow.
Up in the morning, fucking thinking about this movie, all fucked up in the head and like trying to get like, you know me, I like wake up, I try to like do my thing, cold shower, walk in, like fucking meditation, like get your mind right, win the morning, win the day. That day, all I was thinking about fucking death and dying and suffering and torture and how fucking crazy this movie was. As I'm watching it, I'm like, I understand this movie, whatever. Bruh, you gotta be kidding me. It pulled a barbarian on my ass, dude.
Yeah.
Like after Act 1 or in the middle of Act 2 probably is actually when it was. I'm like, wait, what? We're just gonna do that, right? I mean, we're spoiling, right? We're spoiling. We're spoilers.
We're
right?
gonna walk through it sequentially, but say whatever
Yeah,
you gotta say, whatever you want.
When the fucking chick kills herself, I'm like, oh fuck.
Right.
Is she gonna be the monster now or whatever? And then you get the next bit where she finds the surviving victim in the fucking basement and she unlocks all that. I'm like, this was reminding me of Barbarian, where an abrupt fucking thing happens and then we go into another movie. Somebody's exploring extra dimensions in this house, not Lovecraftian dimensions, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I felt like Justin Long was up there with the fucking, with the fucking measuring tape.
I guarantee you the reason why that bucket was in that basement next to that bed in Barbarian was because of this movie.
There's got to be an influence, right? Totally. There's got to be a fucking influence. And then I wonder if there was an influence on Saw. I mean, from Hostel on this movie.
Gotta be.
Because then you think Act 2 is getting fucking crazy. Act 3 is off. I didn't know what was about to happen in this fucking movie.
That's what I thought was so dope.
And that's what I love because it kept me going. Because honestly, in the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, okay, I think I get what kind of movie we're going to be at now. No, not at fucking all. The fact that this movie subverted my expectations, exceeded my expectations, and genuinely fucking gave me a nightmare. The last time a movie gave me a nightmare was when I was watching Videodrome like 3 times in preparation for Horror Fest. For some reason, Videodrome does it, man.
That's my newest pickup right there.
Oh, nice. That's
still
a wonderful Criterion, man. Looks like the VHS tape, but try to put it in your gut and see what happens. But no, this movie was very raw, very visceral, very disturbing, and I think really good. I think it's amazing. I think it is one of the most disturbing, fucked up movies I've ever seen, but I also think it's one of the most stick with you. It's like oatmeal, peanut butter, beans, and rice, as AC Alone would say. It sticks to your ribs at night, right? It just stays with you. Very rarely do I go, oh, get that thought out of your head. Get that thought. I mean, unless they're self-defeating thoughts, but very rarely do I go, get that image out of my head. Dude, those images, when she's in the fucking hall and it's like Chuck E. Cheese fucking posters, you know what I'm saying? And there's like, it's like all like movie theater posters or something of all these people dying. I can't get that shit out of my head, dude. It's fucking with me, dude. I'm that dude that when I get like a St. Jude's or a fucking starving children in Africa commercial, I can't watch it. You know what I'm saying? And that was giving me these kind of vibes. It was unnerving. It was unsettling. And just God damn, dude, do I not want to be one of these fucking victims in this movie? Like, that would be fucking terrible. I don't know what the fuck I would do. I would just die. I would just do whatever it took to just die, dude. I couldn't fucking handle it. I wouldn't transcend or transfigure, whatever the fuck that is. I fucking love it. I love it. I love it. That's it because it subverts my expectations. It really genuinely fucking disturbed me. and movies aren't scary to me, you know?
Right.
But movies can be unsettling and very disturbing. This movie fucked me up. This movie fucked me up, man. I'm not lying.
That's exactly it, man. I don't know if you're in here or Nick, but like some of the movies that we've watched, the Speak No Evil that I watched and reviewed with them, like it's not scary, but it makes me so uneasy and uncomfortable. And that to me is the accomplishment of a lot of these foreign movies. Like, yeah, this one, I mean, there is actually kind of scary moments in this, but it is an uncomfortable ass watch. I'll say, and I'm a little bit surprised to hear it because I had built this movie up so much in my head from what I had heard, like, oh, it's so hard to watch. And like, as I'm starting it, I'm feeling uneasy right away, but it was mostly me. And then when the movie was over, I kept on waiting for like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking disturbing. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't think it was quite as disturbing as I had built it up to me personally. Yeah. But I love that it affected you that much.
Well, see, I didn't have that expectation or anticipation. I didn't know what the fuck this movie was. I asked somebody about it, my homie Blake. I was like, hey, have you heard of this movie Martyrs? It's supposed to be pretty good. And he's like, oh, yeah, I think it's like revenge porn or some shit like that.
Right.
To which my girlfriend in the room was going, I thought revenge porn was like a porn website. And we're like, whoa, yeah, it is. Not that revenge porn. But like, no, man, it genuinely fucking disturbed me, dude. It gave me the same type of vibe that Hellraiser gave me as a kid, where that movie was cool.
Right.
This movie's not cool and it's not fun. It's not a fun movie.
Right. But it is entertaining. That's the thing for me. I think I expected to go into it just watching an hour and a half worth of someone being tortured and feeling like shit. And it was way, way more entertaining than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But Steph, my brother, first time watch for you as well. Dying to hear but first, let me just say, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Me and Link are going to have to review this movie on a Sunday one day for sure. But I've just, like I said, I just did 10 foreign horror movies in a row. I got to wait on it. I got to wait, Ninja, but I will, I promise.
Yeah, just wait because Horror Fest is coming too. There's
I don't know where to start with this one. This one was effective, I will say. It definitely sticks with you. It's very brutal. Yeah, I will give it credit because it's like it switches gears like 3 different times in the movie, and it's like you think it's like okay, it's like some revenge movie. This girl has a plight that she's trying to see through, and then it's like, you know, then it segues into like her you know, so it starts off with the killer. You think she's the main girl, and then she's got a friend, and then she becomes like the main character, and it's like she's trying to work against her girlfriend, help her girlfriend, and then it's like it has like a supernatural element to it, but then it's like psychological, but then it becomes like a home invasion. I mean, it starts off as a home invasion, but then it just so many twists and turns. It's I don't know. I just watched it today, so I'm still digesting.
Right.
Literally, I finished it probably like 6 o'clock, so it's still sitting fresh. It's effective, man. It's not necessarily my type of movie. Right. I will give it credit for being. It's got a story behind it, you know. Obviously, there, and there are themes. But it's just like the way they deliver the message. This is not a feel-good movie.
No, it's like what Two Gun says. It's a movie you don't recommend to about 99% of people.
Yes,
I do. But, I recommended it to 99% of the people.
I will too.
I was like,
I totally will. I mean, Two Gun saying you have issues if you thought this movie was entertaining. I really thought it was, and a lot of that, and we're gonna get to it as we go through the movie, but it comes down to the writing. And like the biggest thing is like I am thinking exactly what the director wants me to be thinking when he wants me to think it, and he didn't have to a character didn't have to talk about it. They're telling the story with the camera, and I'm following along very easily. And I'm being, you know, he keeps putting you in different positions of what you think she's crazy. Are you on her side? The side you're on keeps changing like effortlessly. But.
I mean, I'll come back with some later, but yeah, this was a very brutal movie. I can't really say it was scary, but it is unsettling, and different. I don't know. I don't know if I could recommend this to everybody. It depends. Like if someone, you know, is feeling down or some shit and they're
Right.
having a tough time,
Go
and
watch
they're like,
Martyrs.
recommendation, not go with this one. This is gonna
That's true.
Yeah.
it's just very savage. Yeah.
It's a hard do not recommend to your buddy on the ledge. I agree.
I'm
100%.
sorry your boyfriend just died, but let's watch Martyrs.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Fable, who I told you from the get-go, I'm like, this is probably not your cup of tea. And then you came back with afterwards, you said, you're right. This movie wasn't for me, but it wasn't because of why you probably think it wasn't for me. So lay it on me, brother. What did you think of it, man?
I think this movie is very engaging. It keeps you there, right? You kind of want to see what's going to happen. So, you know, I'll definitely give it points for all of that. The reason I said what I said was because if you know me, you probably think, okay, well, he doesn't like to see women get hurt, right? In film gratuitously, or he doesn't like to see children get hurt gratuitously in films. And so when I started watching this, I came in with that because I said, okay, this is a movie that's probably not for me in that way.
Right.
And right away I saw the kids and I said, okay, I get it. I get why somebody would tell me it's not for me. Because, you know, you see these abused children. But that didn't get me at all. I was
fuck those kids.
Yeah, I was curious of what was going on with these kids and stuff, right? They look all emaciated and shit. And then it just switches gears and we're in the future all of a sudden, about 15 years. And, you know, the family's having dinner or breakfast or whatever it is. And then this lady just fucking comes in and just destroys this family in like a matter of 5 minutes. And I was like, holy crap. That was like the holy crap moment for me. I was like, totally. Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm digging it. Let's go.
What's funny, I almost want to say, you told me, because you weren't sure if you're going to be able to watch it and do the show. You're like, let me throw on the first 5 minutes and then I'll decide. That was before I'd watched it. I watched the first 15 minutes. I almost text you and be like, bro, give it 15. But I'm like, whatever, I'll just let him. He'll get there. But yeah, if you turn off this movie before that, you're missing something.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, as I continue watching it, my thoughts were like, man, this shit is probably one of the bloodiest freaking movies I've ever seen in my life. There is blood everywhere, like on their clothes, on their faces. That, you know, the lady starts off with a white wife beater, and that shit is a different color by the end of this movie.
She's like John McClane, man.
Yeah. She got no shoes, glass in her feet.
It definitely gave me Hellraiser vibes, 100%. I was thinking, especially when you see that thing that they had in the bottom of the house, that woman with the fucking whatever was on her head. She looks like a Cenobite, 100%. And plus the skinning at the end, we'll get into all that. But yeah, I got those vibes. But ultimately, what makes it not my kind of movie is basically the ending of the movie, right?
Okay.
Because I can't see somebody going through all this shit and not get their one off. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
Right. That to me, that's Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the Hollywood that we were raised in, where there were. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. I totally get that. I won't say that I haven't been programmed by American directors and stuff like that. Right. But that's, to me, if you're gonna go through that much pain, you got to give it right the fuck back. Right. And I want to see you give it the fuck back. Like, that's what makes me excited. Like,
don't you think she does a little bit though, Fable? Because whatever she tells that woman causes that woman to blow her fucking head off.
Yeah, fuck all of those people.
All right. Well, that's a good setup and a teaser for the end of it. We'll get into all that.
Yeah.
At the end of this, that's a great setup. All right. So yeah, and you already touched on the next thing that I want to get into. That scene where they set it up. The way that they did this was so brilliant to me. We're introduced. It's 15 years later. We've met our main character, right? The victim from 15 years ago. They show us this family and they zoom in on this one like picture of the daughter where she won this swim meet or whatever. So instantly I'm like, oh, she's the next victim. this is what the story is going to be. She's the victim. They're going to come get this girl. So when the original victim comes in and blows everybody away, and she asks the son, "Did you know?" Instantly, she says, "Did you know?" And I know everything that's going on. I'm like, "Oh shit, that's the original girl. These are the people that did it to her." And then, thank you for the beer. How cute is that? Thank you. All right, go back to your mother now. I appreciate you.
That is fucking child abuse right there. You making your daughter bring you fucking beers? What is this, the robot? This is a fucking robot from fucking Rocky fucking 4?
I text my wife and the kid showed up. I don't know. But so what it does in the next, like, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes of the movie is we're trying to figure out, did she just kill these people because they're the people that tortured her as a child, or is she just fucking crazy and she just blew away this family that seems as likable as they were? They were so realistic. Like, you believe that this was a real family. They weren't perfect. They were cussing. They were acting up. They weren't like this Disney family, but they were real. You know what I mean? And I don't know. To me, like, that was so fucking cool how much that was in my mind of like, what is happening? But Robbie, what did you think of the setup of the movie, all that?
Well, so at the very beginning, I was like, oh man, I don't want to watch a movie about like fucking 13, 12-year-olds getting fucking tortured and shit like that. You know, not if this is supposed to be very gnarly. And you mentioned that term, like what, like New French Extreme or some shit like that, right? It's like, oh man, I don't know about that. But man, dude, that breakfast scene, that surprised the shit out of me, man. Because at this moment, I'm like, oh, how are they trying to figure it out? I thought the same thing. I thought like, oh, this little girl is going to be the next victim, right?
The Linda Blair looking girl.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, so they're going to have to hunt down the abductor of this girl. Those other girls from the beginning are going to get involved and all this shit, right? That's how Hollywood would have made this movie, right? It doesn't go that way. When that dude opens up the door and he goes, oh, I'm like, oh shit, here it is. And then when you see her, I'm like, oh, no fucking way. By the way, what a great fucking choice of casting, right?
Yeah.
That woman looks exactly like her younger self. Like, it felt like, I was like, did they film the beginning of this movie and then wait 15 years and film the fucking rest? Is this Richard Linklater doing Boy's Life or whatever the fuck? If you don't know, it's a movie he filmed over 18 years or some shit, like 10, 12 years, where same guy. So crazy idea. Like, this is the guy who did Dazed and Confused. What the fuck? But anyway, so I thought that shit was fucking crazy. Where it started getting me was when she kills the fucking boy at first. She goes, how old are you? And he says, 18. Boom. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, maybe because he's an adult, right? And then she kills the fucking kid, and I'm just like, movies don't do this. You know what? The one rule they didn't break? They didn't kill an animal.
Right.
That's the one thing they didn't fucking do, was rip a turtle apart or some shit like that, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, it really, that opening got to me a little bit. It made me kind of like sit up in my seat a little bit and be like, okay, this is gonna be pretty gnarly. I'm down. And I thought at that point it'd be more of a ride. And I didn't realize that the ride would be so emotional and psychological, honestly. You know, obviously they're dealing with trauma, they're dealing with some major shit, but it goes well beyond that, and to the point of how trauma affects society, or should I say how society affects trauma. But I loved the opening of the film.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that like Tuga, when I say it's entertaining, I didn't think there was going to be moments like that these surprise quadruple murder with a shotgun. To me, like, yeah, that's entertaining filmmaking right there. And plus all the stuff, and we'll get into it a little bit, all of the supernatural stuff that caught me off guard and just added a lot of, like, you know, excitement and entertainment into the film. What's it just saying? Sorry, I meant Verno. Can you hand signal every show? Sorry. Sorry, I may have had too much V. And by V, I mean vodka. Alrighty then.
Isn't that the fucking shit that turns into a superhero and The Boys or some shit?
Let it rip, Inja. Let it rip. Potentially award-winning hands right there. Those are his award-winning hands. I'm not signed up for that one. All right. Missing Link, my brother. I know we've already touched on it quite a bit, but you got anything to add just to the opening of the scene or any of the shit we've been talking about?
It was engaging. You know, you're kind of like, oh shit. you want to see why all this went down. I think there does add some curiosity to the fact, because I did think the same thing as Robbie when she's like asking the son how old he is, and he's like 18, and she's like, "Did you know what happened?" He's like, maybe he was lying, but I feel like he didn't know.
Right.
It just blows him away, and then he goes and hunts. They almost make you think the daughter's gonna get away too, because I thought she was like out the door, like hit the corner at least, but no, she gets just.
That's what it was for me too. At that exact moment, I was like, "Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay, this is what we're doing. Like, cool."
So how's the rest of this movie gonna go down?
Right.
It's not like she's holding them hostage and trying to get answers for the shit that was like she got her revenge. First 5 minutes, and well, not first five, but first fucking a couple seconds, we see her as an adult. She's already got her revenge. So yeah, I was very curious as to how this was all going to play out from here. But it was engaging for it. And I will say that while we didn't see them kill an animal, there was the whole dead bird and the mom playing around with it.
Oh yeah,
kind of weird.
You know, it was funny because I threw this on again today. I didn't actually get through the whole thing, but that kind of hit different the second time around when you realize who they are. You know what I mean? They're the actual bad guys, and they're playing with this mouse. It's like, oh, okay, they're fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And it also made me think a little bit like, oh, maybe the kids are a part of it because they're like this sick little family laughing about this dead mouse. I don't know. None of us would do that. I can assure you. I doubt any of us would bring a dead mouse in and set it on our breakfast table
while we're eating. Like, what are you doing right now? Like, they're just only the dad was like kind of get it out of here, but he kind of was cool with it at first. But yeah, that was a weird little moment. But no, yeah, it was engaging. The opening was very engaging. It definitely, you're either gonna dip out because it was too savage for you, or you want to see the story play out all the way through at that point.
Right, hell yeah, Mr. Fable. Anything to add to the opening?
I mean, I think every time that I thought I knew what was going to happen, or I got bored with something, it totally flipped.
Totally.
And that's good. Like I said, I saw the kids in the beginning. They're talking to the kids. They look all run down, and I'm like, okay, I get it, whatever. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they introduced this creature at the foot of her bed or whatever it was. I was like, oh, what the hell is that?
Right.
And then they show a breakfast, and they're all talking around. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then she shoots them all. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then it just kept doing that through the whole movie. Every time I was like,
agreed.
All right, and then boom, something else. I'm like, what the hell? Where's this going? Like you guys said. So I'll give it that. It definitely keeps your attention.
There's one part later on after Anna ends up going down to the basement and freeing the girl that's down there. I wrote in my notes, I was like, suddenly there seems like there's zero stakes. Like I just felt like, oh, what is this anymore? Like, I don't know. It feels like I might get bored. Bam. People show up, blow her fucking head off, and it's like, here we go. The movie just changed again.
It's like Link said, once she kills the family, it's like, okay, she got her revenge. What the hell is this movie really about? Right. And then the creature shows up, and you're like, oh, it's a monster movie. Oh, okay.
Right. Well, speaking of, Robbie, what did you think of just the way that they use the monster, the little bit of supernatural that we get in here, which clearly isn't real? It's all in her head. But what did you think of the way it was handled?
When it first started happening, I was into it, right? And I was trying to figure out, I was like, all right, so is this actually something supernatural happening? Is it just representative of the trauma that she's dealt with, right? And then as the movie's progressing, I'm like, they're showing too much of her way too quick. I was like, they're showing way too much of this monster now. Like, you got to pace this out a little bit better. That's what I'm thinking in my particular
right.
Like, you got to pace this out better. I didn't realize that the movie's about to switch gears 10 minutes from now. You know what I'm saying? So actually, in hindsight, it works perfectly because it's like 3 mini movies kind of put together in a way. Yeah. But so at first I was like, huh? But the second time I like it because it's also a good distraction. Right? You all right there, buddy? So it's a good distraction because then you go, oh, it's a supernatural revenge type thing. And then you get it's a really good distraction, but at the same time, it's a good point as far as like the overall theme of the movie, I think. So I like it overall in hindsight.
And then plus it's just, I think it was done well. Like it was intense. She did look cool. It was shot and edited in cool, interesting ways. It added a little bit of fear. And it was, for me, going into it thinking, okay, I'm just gonna watch a woman get beat to death in a fucking basement for an hour and a half. That was one of those elements of entertainment where I was like, okay, this is cool. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not as depressing as I thought it was going to be, which I think my outlook going into it added to my entertainment value. That it's like, oh, this is not nearly as bleak as I quite thought. But unless you guys are dying to say something more on the monster, Link, I was going to ask you about, like, what did you think of the twist? How do you think it was handled with them killing the main character? Were you stunned by it? Did you not give a shit about that main character at that point? Or just how did that whole thing, and even the way it happened afterwards, like with Lucy dying, the original victim, and then her friend Anna now becoming our main character for the rest of the time, like the whole thing, how did you think it was handled?
I can't. Well, real quick on I did enjoy the emancipated look of the creature girl and how feral she was. I felt like that was a symbolic of like her anger that she had over the situation. How we learned she saw another girl and never kind of left her there, and kind of resentful over that, regretful. But I wouldn't say I didn't care, but I don't feel like the story. I mean, something bad happened to her. Obviously, something terrible, but I don't really feel like this story was designed to garner sympathy for her. So it's like when she beat the dust, her character arc, as we had seen, had been completed. She got her revenge. So I didn't see what else they could do with her. It didn't shock me. I mean, the movie kept switching gears to a certain degree, so I was like, okay, let's see where it just kept me thinking like, oh, let's see where this is going.
Right.
Now her girlfriend, who is kind of working against her but trying to help her at the same time, now she's the main character. Yeah, I will say that the scene, just people cutting themselves in general, kind of always gives me the
right.
But just the real deal, I'm not gonna go into detail. What she was going about it, that just and then she's like been running. And
that's what I was kind of surprised by. I'm weird about, like, even my wife, if she touches my wrists, I don't like it. The tops of my hands, I don't like people fucking with them. So I was kind of surprised at how it didn't like make me squirm as much as I thought it was when we see these. I think it was because I was so impressed with the way that they were filming it, where we were seeing her, like, where there was no monster there, then there was a monster there, and the way she grabbed her fucking head, the music gets all sad and shit. Like, that was one thing, like, that somehow made it more palatable for me, is that the music got sad at times instead of being like, I don't know, like you're not supposed to enjoy it. You're supposed to feel sad when she's being hurt or whatever, and like that makes it easier, I think.
Question: I know I'm probably thinking about it too hard at this point, but it's like, who is slashes? She just can't. How is she getting those slashes on her back?
Thought about it. I don't know if it could have been the chick from Possession when she shot Robbie. You know what I'm talking about? She shoots herself in the back. I don't know. You're right. That is a great point.
Maybe
I thought the same.
Her own mental powers are so deep that she's cutting herself, just opening her skin with her mind. Like, I don't know, but I agree.
I thought that too. I imagine her like she like ran into some shit and scraped her back on the wall, like we just didn't see it or whatever. But I definitely thought that.
So wall and shit. Right before she got shot, remember she's like, I don't know what she did, but she had like some blood and she's like just smearing it against the wall, the side of her head, and shit like that. Like you said, rubbing her back against shattered glass, which is fucked up. But
Fable, you got any thoughts on the twist, or were you shocked when Lucy killed herself? How do you think it was handled?
I gotta agree that you really don't give a shit too much. You really just focus on this creature, because everything that she does up to the point she kills herself is, you need the context of the rest of the movie in order to go back and understand what the hell was just happening. Because quite honestly, I felt pissed off a few times. Like when her friend was helping her, I'm like, why are you helping this crazy bitch? Why are you helping her? She just killed a kid, for God's sakes. I don't care how much you love her. You're weird too. You know what I mean? And And then when the monster's attacking her or whatever, and I'm like, why aren't you trying to see this creature that's chasing her? Like, you're never trying to be in the same room when this creature's doing what
I
doing
think she
to this
knows.
girl.
I think
You
she's
know
been
what I mean?
dealing with that shit for 15 years, and she
Which
knows
makes her
she's crazy.
even more, ridiculous. But
Right.
again, that's what was pissing me off. And so when she kills herself, then I'm like, yeah, what is this movie going to be about now? So it's just things like that, like logic things that were messing with me. But it explained itself. You just got to give it time. And the gore and the surprise sequences are enough to keep you to get to that part.
Your cameraman is on fire. You're having that moment. He's doing the slow zoom. I gotta get one. I gotta get one. Robbie, when I sent the rundown, I was sitting there like comparing it to other movies like Psycho and Hostel. There's like different kind of ways you can kill your main character. There's the Psycho way where it's like afterwards you are now aligned with someone you weren't expecting to be aligned with, and that's what makes it kind of interesting and Hitchcockian. And then like with Scream, there's a bunch of other ways where it's just the advertising sets you up for one thing. You know what I mean? Like Deep Blue Sea, we think Samuel L. Jackson's the main character. Spoiler alert, he's not. Drew Barrymore in Scream. And then this one, I just thought it was like interesting the way they did it and unique. And I cared more about the character that followed than I think I do in most of the films that I'm talking about. But Robbie, how do you think it was handled?
I thought it was handled very well because I mean, they lean you into that. This is about this girl and her friend, her lover, allegedly. I mean, like, I think that's all right there, maybe not as on the nose, but I mean, I think they're lovers. Right. And you start slowly, they don't just drop you off the cliff because they start slowly leading you into the perspective of the other main character. Right. Where you're like, oh, this woman's crazy. This person's just trying to help her, this and that. So they slowly start veering you that way. But still, the moment that she slices her throat and then does the Pez dispenser shit, like it got me, dude, because I was just like, what the fuck is this going to happen in the rest of this movie now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm checking the
is this
time.
a short film, bro?
Right.
I honestly thought, like, you're free now.
Yeah.
Right.
You're free. You don't have to worry about this crazy chick getting you into any kind of trouble. You could just set fire to this house and get the hell out of here.
Totally.
Burn all the evidence. That's what I was thinking. So stuff like that was getting me upset. But again, it's engaging enough to just keep going to see where they're leading. Like,
right.
where they're going.
Right. I totally feel what you're saying. She could have fucking got up and left at that moment. I don't remember the exact details and how it went down.
She cleans up the body though.
Yeah, she's cleaning up the body. She sees the basement. She sees the key.
They must be like really remote because there's even the moment where the chick. So Lucy's the first girl, right?
Yeah.
Who's the second one?
Anna.
That's right. So Anna, there's a moment where she's out in her car to grab some stuff. She comes back. She's looking around, make sure no neighbors here. Dude, how many gunshot blasts? Shotguns. Nobody comes in. But maybe it's because there's deeper connections going on.
Right.
Well, it explains itself as it goes on. But at the moment of watching it, you're gonna think like, well, nobody came around. Nobody's checking on these people that have been obviously off the grid for a few hours now.
Right. It was one day, but it was 2 days because they spent the night there. That thought crossed my mind too. It's like, get the fuck out of the house. It should have been more in my mind. And I did have a feeling that what happens is going to happen. So basically, long story short, new girl finds this fucking basement. She goes down there. There's torture chambers, the whole 9 yards. She finds a person down there already. She frees that person. That person kills themselves, which we're like, what the fuck? Or she's trying to kill herself. She's cutting herself all up, self-harming, which is kind of the trend with these people that are captured by what we find out is some kind of organization, right? So they capture Anna. They take her down to the basement, and they're explaining to her, Robbie, I'm half tempted to just fucking have you tell me what the fuck they explained to her, because I don't really know what they explained to her. They explained to her that they have been systematically taking people down there and torturing these people to try to get them to reach some state of transcendence or transfiguration and become true martyrs. We're basically, I think, and you guys tell me if you agree with this, is their goal is they're trying to see what happens on the other side of death. Yes. They think that these people that are on the edge of death, they experience a state where they see what's on the other side of death. They do this to Anna. They beat the shit out of her for about a half hour. It's actually a little bit less than that. There's all this shit where they're beating the shit out of her and torturing her for quite a while. And she ends up having one of these moments, and they tell us, the viewers, that this is only the fourth person that's ever had this moment. And it's the first person to ever be able to communicate what she saw afterwards. And we are the lucky people. We're going to hear it in just a few short moments. It's only one person that knows. And this person promptly kills themselves. Fucking roll credits. The movie's over. So that's pretty much the final act of this movie. I thought it was fucking badass. Before we get into like really what it means, actually, let's just talk about the torture part of this whole thing. This is where I'm sitting here waiting for it. All right, this is where it's going to be really, really hard to watch. And I'll be honest, it's rough, but it didn't make me squirm that fucking much. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again or something. But Robbie, what did you think of just the whole torture leading up to the end?
So when I said that this movie was one of the most disturbing things I'd seen in my adult life, and it stuck with me, gave me nightmares, it's not the torture,
right? Which
is brutal. Like beating this dude who's huge, beating the fuck out of this like slender woman, right? And just all of that shit, like the fucking food in the mouth, and just like
that's the worst part.
It's so fucking cold, right? But it's like what shitty ass fucking people, especially here in Alabama, do to their dogs to get them to fucking pay attention. And then they wind up all these cowardly sniveling things, and that's going to be what happens to most of these torture victims, right? But a slight few somehow manage to forget themselves or leave the body mentally, right? And get into a thing, right? What was really disturbing to me is the concept of martyrdom, right? So I used to be a Christian, right? And I was like studying to be a preacher and all that kind of shit. And there's especially like, I wasn't Catholic, I was Baptist at the time, right? But like, even in things like, especially in the Catholic Church, there's a big, giant spotlight put on martyrdom, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole fucking religion is based on martyrdom, right? Somebody has to die to save everybody else, right? Somebody has to die to transcend, right? And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find what is on the other side by bringing these people to the brink of death. And some people, very few, can somehow turn it into an almost like a transcendental meditation, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what happens here. Because she learns from Lucy, right? Who told her, I only survived because I got out of my head and I wasn't there. I just let whatever happen. And I can't even imagine that.
Right. Which we see her get to that
would be just
moment.
Sitting there for fucking 15 hours doing nothing.
Right.
Like that's the fucking torture to me. I couldn't fucking handle it. Right?
Well, there's that one moment when they do like a couple slow dissolves of just her sitting there, just showing the passage of time. And that moment really did hit me. That gets in your head. Like, yeah, that would fucking suck.
Yeah.
Just sitting. I mean, the pain would suck too.
So it wasn't even the pain. It was like, it wasn't the beatings. It wasn't the feedings. It wasn't every fucking depraved fucking thing that happened in the movie. It was the idea of why they're doing what they're doing. And just the idea of where they're going to take her. Right? Like I got chills the moment they're like, you're in your final phase. It's the roughest one, but you're almost there. But dude, as soon as she walks into that fucking hallway and we see all those photos, fuck that. Fuck that shit. I don't even like talking about it, bro, because it's making me think of those goddamn photos and they are like fucking freaky. And I'm like, are these fucking real?
I was wondering that too. I'm almost scared to Google it.
Like, you know, the famous photo of the monk who catches himself on fire or whatever. The people that stand in front of the fucking tank, and then like the person that shoots himself on fucking TV after giving a speech, all this kind of shit. I can't watch that shit.
No,
when I was a kid, I couldn't watch Faces of Death and shit like that, dude. And it was giving me those kind of vibes, man.
That's why I hate the fucking, you can be on Facebook right now, just scrolling along and you'll see a homicide. You're like, what the fuck? Especially if you're on.
I don't. Your algorithm is fucked up, dude. Let me
I never look at shit. I always say fuck that. Like sometimes
it's because Verno finds all this shit entertaining.
I'm telling you, I like that shit. I very much don't. I'm always like, what the fuck? Especially on Twitter. I rarely get on Twitter, but Twitter is fucking insane. You'll see some absolutely buck wild shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can also find a lot of porn if you're fucking looking for it. Hit me
Yeah,
up.
dude,
I'll
one
tell
day
you
I'm
the
scrolling
hashtag.
through Twitter. I see some ass fucking going on. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know we were all invited to this party. What's going on,
Yeah.
man?
You'll accidentally stumble across a lot of shit. You were like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't want that.
I stumbled onto some
Logan,
shit because a friend liked it. And I was like, what's he like?
you never like anything. What are you, an idiot? All right. I don't know where we're at, but Steph, my man, what do you think of the? Oh, you got something?
No, they recently changed that on Twitter, by the way, so you're in the clear now. Go ahead and like.
It doesn't show you what I liked. Okay,
No,
They did just change that. Go Elon.
Yeah, he knows.
I never understood why that was a thing. Anyways, like, come on now, and everyone doesn't need to see what I'm.
Ted Cruz immediately goes back to X and starts watching porn again.
Instagram's the worst. Instagram, it tells me what all you guys are doing at all hours. I feel like Fable's active right now. It's like, why didn't Fable answer back? It says he's active. Like, I hate that it says that Fable saw your text. What?
That's literally your phone being open on your table, and it'll act like you're on Instagram. But
yeah,
it's got the app open. It doesn't mean
we've all been there though, where we just anguish and we're like, they fucking read it. Online. Last active 2 hours ago. You ain't gonna respond. That's word. That's terrible. That's the terrible thing about modern life, man.
I hate it, IG, for that. I hate it. But Steph, what do you think of the end of the film? All that shit.
I will say that the whole setup was disturbing. Where it got me, it was a subtle thing, but it was when they're explaining to her the whole martyrdom situation, their setup.
Mm-hmm.
They trick her out, where it's like one dude walks up to her like he's about to cock her with the gun, but then they put the chloroform over her mouth.
Yeah,
like, that's fucked up. So it's like you knock her out with this intense fear, like. Very psychological, man.
There's another moment when they come into the room and he like rubs the back of her head like soothingly for a second, and then he fucking grabs her like as he's coming in. It's like, yeah, they're playing with her head exactly.
For me, I feel like this was the most hardest part of the film. The ass whooping was relentless. He's like knocking her to the ground. Then she's unconscious. He's propping her up, and as she's sliding to the ground unconscious, he's punching her in the face, wailing. But it doesn't end there. To me, the most fucked up part that we kind of touched on was the skinning.
Yeah.
What? Then they're just leaving her there to like slap and shit. Like,
I love how impressed they seem. Like he comes up afterwards, and it's like the first time that we see the bad guy's POV. So something's about to fucking happen or whatever. And he's like washing his hands up after the surgery, and he's like, amazing. He says to someone else about her down there because she didn't scream. It seems to me they just skinned her alive and she didn't scream, and he was fucking very impressed.
Bro, when they start laying her down in that like fucking tub or whatever, dude, I never in this movie turned my head away. Many times in this movie did I go, God damn. Like that shit gets to me, man.
Dude, for me, when that one lady started cutting her goddamn wrist, which I almost made as the thumbnail, and I was like, I don't know, that's gonna turn some people off. But Fable, my brother, from another. What do you think of the ending, man?
This is definitely where the movie loses me.
Okay,
this is it. This is the part where it loses me. First of all, like you said, it was probably 15 or 20 minutes, but it seemed like they were beating her for half an hour. I'm not entertained. I don't care. It's disturbing. I don't want to see it go on that long. You can give me the same feeling without having to show me it 500 times. You know what I mean?
What I appreciate that though, that they weren't doing like 5 days later.
Yeah.
Right.
10 months later. Like how long happened? Like how long? Like
I mean,
how long was this? We don't know. It's in our heads, really.
Right.
Because you see the inflicting wounds building up. You see her eyes swelling up, and then her lips are messed up, and
I'm with you though. I'll say, like, I did think it went on a little bit long, and if I ever got bored in the movie, it was during that part. But I'm pretty goddamn desensitized if I'm gonna get bored during that.
I mean,
once he went into the fade, it goes into the fade in, fade out thing, right? Where they lay off from the beatings for a while, then they come back, show them again. I actually think it was paced pretty well.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on Fable to tell you.
No, it's okay. Listen, I fast forwarded it because then I started seeing how much time was left, and I was like, okay, what's going on? He's going to beat her for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So especially when he comes in the room and he just starts cold cocking her like 10 times. I'm like, you can't cold cock a girl like that 10 times and her live. Not at all. Not that bad. Not his size. Mm-hmm. But anyway, also let me down in a way where I'm always thinking she's going to find the key. She's going to get out the cuffs. She's going to wrap the chain around his neck. I'm expecting this kind of thing, and it's not doing that for me. So when she finally got skinned, I was like, oh, come on. Don't tell me this is over. Don't tell me this is how it's going to go down. These fucking yuppies, these pieces of shit that look like they can't even take a slap in the face are going to win? You know what I mean? They're going to put this girl through this shit? Yeah. And that's when I started getting disappointed. But I totally see the Hellraiser in this part of the movie because, well, first of all, let's get this out the way. Hellraiser did it better with the skinning. I'm just going to say that right now. But you know, these people are trying to see Leviathan. If you ever watch Hellraiser, that's what it's all about. They are into this like sick pleasure. They get pleasure out of cutting themselves and the pain. They want to reach this nirvana of pain. So that was very interesting to me. But ultimately, it let me down. And like I said, I didn't want to see this chick get beat up for what probably is 5-10 minutes, but seemed like half an hour.
It did feel long. It did feel very, very long.
That's what she
said. But it was also very satisfying is the wrong word, right?
That's what she said too.
Right? Okay. But I don't even know. Like, I think that I don't know. I think it's necessary because I think that we actually wind up understanding just a little bit of the disorientation of what she's going through.
Well, what I understood was the girl who slit her throat. That's when I understood her whole, like, I will kill the kids, I'll kill the father, the mother, I'll kill everybody in this freaking house because if that's what she went through, I feel her. I feel her at that point. But they didn't give me that until the very end, though.
Yeah. Right, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? They did give it to you, so I think it's a good thing. I like
the movie didn't feel long to me for some reason.
No, it never felt long to me.
There was a moment though where I was like, "Is this third act going to be all this?"
Yeah, me too.
Right?
Me too.
But then it started. Those cuts start happening faster. There's a pace to it. Actually, I think that's very.
I did the same shit where I'm like, "God damn, we got a half hour left. Okay, this is gonna be a half hour of this," and it's not quite that. But Steph, you had something to say?
Well, the movie for the most part did a good job at not doing a exposition verbally until to the Mademoiselle, and we kind of went by that time as she's explaining their whole operation and how we try to get them to reach transfiguration or whatever. You've already seen the results from like her girlfriend and the chick locked downstairs, so it's like at that point, do we need to see her be abused when we just had to explain to us how they go about that process? You know, I mean,
think we do.
If you got an imagination, you can kind of
you can make punching sounds, going down the hallway slowly, her screaming,
the sound of
You can do that, but then it wouldn't be New French Extremity, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. My man E says, I'm super happy that Verno picks me for very specific movies because this conversation alone is making me squirm. I feel you. I feel you, dude. I would love to actually see what you thought of this, though.
See, even in some of the exposition there, I think it starts ramping up that pace. Like when the Mademoiselle is showing the book and all the pictures, and it's like, and is putting together like what we've already seen, but with even more and shit. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Dude, I grew up.
She's another one where she's like Tangina from Poltergeist.
Yeah, she's good casting. She's freaky.
So I grew up in like a part of my family. Some of the old school, this was an old school thing people used to do, and they definitely used to do it back here. But when a member of the family would die, they would take a picture of them in the casket and display it in the fucking house.
My fucking niece just took a picture and put it on Facebook at the last family fucking funeral.
It's like, that's the most disturbing shit, dude. Death masks, death fucking photos. Like that shit. Fuck no.
My culture does that too. Puerto Ricans, they take pictures of people in caskets.
Dude, I used to go to my grandmother's house. There'd be like 8 pictures of dead people on the fucking wall, dude. I'm 8 years old, dude. No wonder I turned up fucked up, dude. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, it is widely believed that all of the basement photos are real.
Fuck that,
Martyrs.
dude. Don't tell me that shit, dude. I'm having nightmares again tonight. Fuck you, dude. I was nightmare free last night. Tonight's a whole other situation.
And just actually, I've got a couple slides here. If we can, no, I'm just joking.
Oh god damn it, Verno! You'll get banned on YouTube if you show that motherfucker shit.
All right, so I mean, Robbie, I guess maybe we already hit on it. Like, could you elaborate a little bit on what do you think they found at the end? Why does the woman kill herself at the end? Did anybody have any theories?
I looked into this a little bit.
Okay.
But before I did that, my idea was that she told her something so devastating. So devastating.
Yeah.
That she found out it was all pointless.
They'd be doing this whole thing for nothing.
Yeah, because if like otherwise you could be like, okay, so she's greedy. She finds out the secret. She knows that the afterlife is great. So she's going to kill herself and go. Maybe she finds out that there's a beautiful afterlife, but you ain't going to be there. But then when you look into it, most people on the internet think that what she's telling her is keep doubting. There's a section of people that say she says keep doubting. There's another section of people that says she's saying it's real, but you're not going to be there. So, but I love the ambiguity of it is what I love that. But that's what a lot, like I even saw Two Gun Pedro mention that earlier in the chat, but keep doubting is the most common thing that people think she says.
Are people saying they think they hear her say? I'm just because the way
people
you're
think
saying
they
it.
hear her say it, or they can read the lips. Because you do hear a little bit of it.
Oh, and it's in like fucking French and shit. We're not gonna be able to read the lips or hear what the hell they're saying. Interesting. That's very interesting. Keep doubting. Or I'm sorry, what was the other one? I'm sorry, you said like
or it's real, but you're not going. It's real, but you're not going to go there.
I like that. I like that more than.
But then, if that's the case, why she kill herself? But the basic idea is that she basically tells her like it's not what you think. Like it's or I don't know. And like I like the ambiguity of it, but like she could be selfish, find out there's an afterlife, want to get there really quick, kill herself, keep it from everybody else. But I don't think that's what this organization would do.
Right.
And I think she kills herself because she finds out something very disturbing.
I like that. That was my initial thought. Go on.
Maybe she even finds out that it's not real.
I like the keep doubting line. That it kind of fits within the nihilistic world that was established throughout the whole film. Like, you know, you're not.
And it also like points out the hypocrisy of these people. If they're people of faith, then they live by faith. But these are people not of faith. And maybe the afterlife is only for people of faith, right?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. I don't know. I think the movie gave me a lot more than I was expecting going in. But let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Let's rate this thing. Mr. Rock and Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers. On a scale of 1 to 5, what do you give Martyrs 2008?
Well, it disturbed me. It fucked me up. It got the job done. It surprised me. It really took us some twists and turns I didn't see coming. It reminded me of things like Hostel and Barbarian, but because it's so contemporary of Hostel, I think there's some influence there, but there's got to be, right? And there's
the organization felt so hostile to me.
Yes, and there's influence on this into Barbarian, I think, 100%.
Right. Oh, let me just interrupt you to say something while I'm fucking thinking of it. What up, Sal? First of all, I thought, and I think this would have been cool, and if somebody should do this for a premise, I thought they were searching for a messiah, kind of like Samuel L. Jackson and Unbreakable. For a minute, I'm like, oh, they're like trying to put all these people through this, searching for someone that can handle it, with like seek out the messiah. That would have been like an interesting plot or whatever.
Yeah, I can dig that.
But carry on, Robbie.
There's even a moment where she looks like she's in the Christ pose on the cross, right?
Yeah.
So before I really rate the film, I want to go into what I think it means, right? So this movie is about martyrdom. The very last thing the movie says is the definition of martyrs. Martyrdom.
Which I appreciate, because a
lot
of us need that.
Well, a lot of people think martyr is somebody who dies for a cause. But the idea that it actually means witness means something else, right? All these stories, I grew up Christian in the Christian churches. So to me, it's like the story of St. Peter hung on a cross upside down. the story of this person stoned to death, the story of, those are very gruesome fucking stories that we tell each other to be comforted for some fucking reason, right? So to me, this movie is about, first of all, there's a religious connotation to it, okay? It is about the idea of death and suffering being something that leads to a reward. And that is a lie that we have been perpetrated with all throughout our cultures, right? Is that, don't worry, you may hate your life right now, but there's something better on the way. But we don't believe that. Not really. Just like the people in this organization don't fucking believe it. So here's the fucking thing. Pain and suffering lead to transfiguration, transmorphing, transforming, more than meets the eye, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but like, are they doing the suffering?
Right.
No.
Right.
Think about the Middle Ages. Think about Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Those fucking monks that were like self-flagellating themselves, right? Not self-congratulating themselves, but self-flagellating. Like they're hurting themselves to try to experience the pain of Christ. This is something that's part of the Christian religion, right? Is the idea that suffering and pain are necessary to bring you into the afterlife, right? That's a fucking lie, because those that tell us that pain and suffering are necessary, those that say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get out there, put your head down, lean into the suffer, love the suffer, there will be a reward in the afterlife. The people that are telling us that are eating good, living good, fucking good. That's all fucking bullshit. And that's what this movie is about to me. These fucking elitists, assholes, right? Who are telling this woman, you are so fucking amazing for suffering through this. It's so amazing that you were beaten and raped your whole life, but now you can testify for Jesus and for our church and bring people in and show that this love is actually transfigured. No, this woman's fucked up now. But you are just congratulating yourselves because of her suffering. It's about the lie of suffering and pain leading into something good.
Wow.
It doesn't lead to anything fucking
I'm
good.
so unreligious, but I find myself wanting to be like, no, you got to suffer. I mean, don't you have to suffer to do anything worthwhile?
Not like this,
What's a
motherfucker.
No, not like this. I'm not saying, like, not even in the context of the movie. But to me, I think the reason why that, like, the whole suffering and pain gets mixed in with the idea of religion and the afterlife is because there is truth in it. Like, the reason why we're sacrificing humans is because we had to tell story. We couldn't articulate the fact that we needed to sacrifice shit now for the future. You know what I mean? Like, we have to suffer now.
You're right. You're
right.
For the afterlife.
That makes sense, but it's the hypocrisy of these people.
Exactly.
Right.
And here's the thing. Suffering. Okay, let's take it to a very small scale. All right.
Please.
You go to the gym and you fucking sweat and hurt and move, but you have a benefit from it. Mm-hmm. You're burning calories, you're building muscle, you're doing all this shit, right? That benefit happens in the real life, and it happens for you and only to you. Me going to the gym, me walking every day, me doing this, me watching what I'm eating, the only person with benefit with that is me, right? Yeah, directly is me, right? The idea of people saying, give us all your money. I know you're broke, but give the church your fucking money and you're suffering. God will reward you for it.
Right.
That's bullshit. That is a fucking false promise. That is like, it's bullshit, man. Because
and then they got to be like, have faith that'll happen.
You're promised a reward in another life. My reward in the afterlife should be having to deal with all the assholes in this fucking world. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because I've suffered through some shit, but like, the thing is, when you choose suffering, when you choose it,
right,
then you can reap the benefits in this life.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
But we're talking about other people choosing that for
sure. I thought you were just like criticizing the idea of suffering. Like, I think it's like a lot of things in the Bible.
But that's a different suffering.
Right.
I'm talking about the suffering, like life is suffering.
Right.
Life's not suffering, bro. Life has suffering in it.
Right.
Sometimes it's self-inflicted, but we do it for the benefit of ourselves, right? But this movie is about the trauma that gets put up. It's also about victimhood. Think about today.
Right.
How popular is it to be a victim?
They even say
You
that.
almost
They're like, "Hey, everyone's a victim."
You almost transcend if you're a victim on social media. Right? So I think there's an element there. And we're talking about 2008. So maybe this is prophetic, maybe it's not. I think the main theme is about the hypocrisy of the elite and the fucking governments in like wanting the people to suffer, but they're the ones who reap the fucking benefit.
Right.
Oh, we're going to allow y'all to suffer. None of those motherfuckers want to get flayed alive. None of those dudes want to get their fucking dicks cut off or their balls fucking smashed in some high heels.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You see these elderly old women get out the car and be like, "No way, bitch, you down with this?"
Yeah.
Do you guys think there was because I even wrote in my notes like, are our horror victims, are they our martyrs? You know what I mean? Are they, instead of, because I'm always interested in the idea that for fucking thousands of years we used to throw people into pits. Every culture did it. Human sacrifice was a thing.
Yeah,
we
and
needed
like,
it.
You would have half the people cheering, and the other half of people would be like, "How brave that person was to do that sacrifice, and now they're rewarded in heaven."
Right. And then there's also like 30% of the people that were just like, "Well, we better shut the fuck up, or else it's going to be us next." But my point is like,
or people like me and Robbie that say, "Where's the back door to this place?" I got
sacrifice, right? Suffering and sacrifice are different things. Sacrifice it should be intentional. Sacrifice should never be unintentional. When someone else is sacrificing your ass, it's the same theme as the Wicker Man, right? You don't kill someone to reap the benefits of that death. Right. Like, and then be like, what a brave fucking soul. How many times do we hear this shit? People share their fucking stories of child abuse, sexual assault, of fucking heinous things that they had to go through with their parents or their lovers or anybody else in their fucking life. And we go, how brave you are.
Yeah.
And it gives us this sense of, oh, I'm not as bad as them. And now I can like kind of like, it's like leeching off of the suffering of others. That's what this is about, man. And that's some bullshit, dude.
That crossed my mind when they're showing the pictures too of all these people. Like, why do we take these pictures? And that is like, we want someone, not that we want it, but we need that. Exactly what you said.
It's like people who take up causes for the internet that never been through the shit that the people that they're causing for it. And they're doing it just for the likes and the attention and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck all that shit, you know? And just like, no, I mean, that's exactly what it is. And just, I just, this movie, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that was the vibe of where we were going, was the hypocrisy of people who want to benefit from the suffering of others, who want to force others into. Anna would never choose that. Anna wants to live with Lucy for the rest of her life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what she wants. And she will sacrifice. She's already been sacrificing. She sacrifices this in fucking the whole first 2 acts of this movie. Anna is sacrificing.
Totally, yeah.
But that's a choice that she's making.
Right.
Sacrifice has to be a choice. Otherwise, it's suffering that only other people benefit from, and that's fucked up. That being said, this movie's perfect. It's 5. 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
It got the job done. It got the message across to me. It disturbed me. It gave me a fucking nightmare, dude.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. Missing link. Yeah. My brother from another. Where you at on Martyrs 2008?
I'll give it a quick summary of the theme. Revenge doesn't always work, you know? Evil begets evil. Keep it short and simple. But with my review, I will give this a 3.69.
Bruh.
But this is, I mean, I have no problem with someone who thinks it's a 5, but, you know, in my eyes, a 5 is a universally acclaimed film. I don't think you can give this to everybody.
Fuck the universe.
But, you know, it's effective. It's well done. Good acting. Solid story behind it. It gives you more of a reason or more of a mythos than most torture porn does. So I'm going to appreciate that. But at the end of the day, it's a torture porn film. If you don't like the term, unfortunate. But yeah, it's a solid 3.69.
Bruh.
I don't mind if you use it, bro.
It looks good. It looks good on you. You know what I mean?
Something about your eyes when you say it. It's fine.
Fable, my brother. Where you at? By the way, you guys stick around. We're gonna do a real quick, like rapid fire with some other foreign horror recommendations after we finish rating this thing and get out of here. But Fable, where you at, brother?
So, just to tap into what Robbie was saying about suffering and hoping to get some reward at the end, I believe there's a balance, like sort of like the Force in Star Wars, right? You put in and you get out what you put in, right? Like Robbie said, you go to the gym, you bust your ass, but guess what? Now you got big ass muscles and all the girls are around you. You get to reap the benefit of that
all the
suffering.
boys too, Fable.
Yeah, all the boys too. But I'm right there with Steph. 3.69. I think it's just not my kind of thing. It's well done, like we said. It's directed very well. Acting, everything, music on point, and makeup, whatever it is. It's all good. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. But I would recommend this to people who like Hostel and Hellraiser or things like that. I would give it, but I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. Hell no, because like you said, if you're on the ledge, you don't want to see this shit. You know what I mean? It's not a feel-good movie, and so you can't give it to everybody. It's not for everybody. So for who it's for, it would probably be a 5 for them. But since I like to have a little bit, I like to see that suffering, but I like to see it returned because I like my horror, I like my gore. You know what I mean? But I want to see it given back, especially to those assholes. Those freaking assholes deserve it. 3.69 as well.
I just want to interject real quick.
Please.
So, first of all, you two giving this movie a 3.69 is the equivalent of me giving it a 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we're on the same fucking page.
I'm very happy with your scores.
You can't deny its filmmaking quality.
Right.
It's a quality film. It's just subject matter and my taste or wherever I go.
Totally
it's flashing. Totally. So I'm gonna give it a better than half, right? 2.5.
Well, just the fact that y'all both did the 0.69, that says a lot.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Because this movie had no 69s in it. And if it did, they'd be fucked.
That would have been weird.
We just had a whole 20 minutes here about Catholicism and suffering. So just because of that.
Well, see, that's the other thing with Hellraiser, Fable, right? The Hellraiser shit. In Hellraiser, that dude, Pinhead, the dude who became Pinhead, chose that shit. Exactly. He seeked it.
Mm-hmm.
Anna didn't seek this shit. This is like the people that want to be Cenobites, but are too fucking pussy to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like the dude in fucking the remake.
They just got a buddy that's a Cenobite, dude. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
He lets me drive him around.
And I would say this. I think this should be required watching for people when they hit fucking 17 years of age. Well, maybe the internet would be better and 20-year-olds would be so fucking insufferable.
The reason why I'm so glad, Steph and Fable, that you guys showed up tonight is there's so many of these movies that, you know what I mean, we use as reference point movies. And this is one of those. You know what I mean? We're going to have to force Stu to watch this so that he has this one under his belt, because it's one that we will probably compare other movies to in the future for sure. The other thing you made me think of, Fable, I almost texted you after our conversation after Pan's Labyrinth when we were talking directors and shit, is we're talking about movies, we're talking about James Cameron, and it's heart. That's the thing that you like in your movies more. I'm not saying more than anything, but you're the man I'm talking about. Like, I think that's for me. That's why I like that bleak ending. I enjoy heart in a movie, but I like when they go the non-Hollywood route and they go like, "Whoa, that's not what I thought they were going to do." I want to feel hollow inside at the end of a movie.
Usually, when there's a bleak ending, I like it because it's well deserved.
Right. That's why I want you to fucking watch Speak No Evil so bad, dude. We're going to have to review that again next year with this panel right here.
I'll give you a hollow ending with some heart, though.
Rocky 1.
The movie with Thomas Jane where they're at the grocery store.
The Mist.
The Mist.
Yeah.
It's very bleak.
That movie's so fucked at the end, though, man. That movie only ends that way just to fuck you up.
See,
dude.
I think of that all the time in Fable. I think of what you said exactly. Where in that movie, you felt like it was a bleak ending and that character didn't deserve it in the end. And there's other movies, I guess I won't spoil them. There's some other movies that I've watched recently where that character did deserve it in the end. And it was like, yeah, like it does hit a lot harder. And in The Mist, they wrote that and they changed it at the end. So it didn't, there's a reason why it was clunky at the end. But I don't know. It's something I think about fucking constantly.
It's like what Robbie said. If you go seeking that shit, then when it happens to you, it's your fucking fault. Exactly. So if you have a bleak ending about that person going through it, it's like, fuck yeah, they asked for it.
See, to me, though, the madam, right? The person who's in charge of this organization has the bleak ending out of all of them because she realizes, fuck.
Right. And
There's
it just
nothing for
happens
me.
to have it too. And Lucy, nobody gets out of this alive.
I think Anna actually transcends because I think that she's like put herself in a state of mind where she's really separated herself from her body. And I think they're going into something mystical and metaphysical there, but they're doing it with a very subtle touch.
Right.
You got to go through hell and earth in order to.
Well said, my brother.
Yeah, she told that bitch, yeah, there's a heaven, but you ain't gonna be there.
There's the moment where like they're feeding. First of all, when they're feeding her, she keeps spitting it out, and then there's that scene and the music starts swelling and feeling like almost triumphant, and she's just taking her bites as they're giving it to her, and that's us as the viewer being like, she's accepted it, and it feels. I'm almost like, yeah, like it's a very weird moment where it's like, why is this so triumphant and it's so
These
tragic?
people no longer have control of her as a victim.
Right. That is what it is.
Well,
that is what
the
it
old
is.
lady, the old lady, not only did she off herself because whatever she told her totally, went again, made her lose her faith in a lot of ways, I would assume. But it's also because she's commanding this army of sycophants.
Right.
And she's got to face them. And they're already freaking nuts. Obviously, they have cells. You can tell they have cells. They're doing this different parts of wherever they're from. So she's got to face them. And if she has to tell them what that girl told her, I'd rather kill myself.
Exactly. I'm gonna give it. Rockin' Robbie in the chat says Martyrs is not fun, Ninja, but you should watch it, and I highly agree. I thought you had seen it, Ninja. I could almost swear that you did. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. And I thought about a 5, and I could easily give it a 5. I think the reason why I won't is because I don't still fully understand everything at the end, and I'll rewatch it again and maybe see if I can get there. That's another key thing, though. I figured this was going to be a movie that I would, one of those like you watch, you get it under your belt, you're like, oh, okay, I never have to fucking do that again. I'll totally watch this movie again. There's no 4K release of it. There's a Blu-ray that's out there, but like I'll chill. I'll wait on it. When it comes out on 4K, I will definitely like pick this one up.
Bro, I already got a movie night planned in my head because one of the last movie nights we did, my buddy Austin, who by the way his Kickstarter funded, so that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But Austin was like, that movie was cool, but like horror movies need to disturb me, and I didn't feel disturbed by that movie. I'm like, now I got a fucking movie that's gonna disturb me.
Yeah, right, exactly. I got a couple of them I can send you as well.
Let's all drink some tequila and watch this movie and see what the fuck happens.
Just tell him to turn on Teletubbies. That shit is disturbing. What are you talking about?
All right, so this has been a blast. So we got a 5 from Mr. Rock and Robbie Billups, a 3.69 from Link and Fable respectively, and I'm giving it a 4.5. We had a couple in the chat. 4.5 from Mr. Two Gun Pedro. Pew to the motherfucking pew. And that might have been it, actually. That might have been it. And that is going to conclude the review for Martyrs. And I'll just say, like a wrap up on Summer Abroad as a whole, it has been fire as fuck. I was going to run through the fucking list of movies, man. We have reviewed 2 from Japan. We did Ring, and we did -1 from Japan, fire as fuck. Italy, we did Suspiria, South Korea. We did Parasite. This is fucking maybe one of my favorite movies of this whole thing. Dream Home and Funny Games I did on a Sunday with my buddy Wes. Those are 2 movies that we will review on this channel again with the regular crew, maybe like a year from now. But have you, Link, I've just been curious because that, to me, that's been the biggest takeaway. Probably my favorite movie that I've watched during Summer Abroad has been Funny Games. Have you, either of you two, seen the original?
Never seen the original. I've seen the one with Tim Rothman.
Well, then you've seen it pretty much, from what I understand. Did you like that movie? I'm just curious because that movie, that's the one that has stuck with me more than anything.
It kind of, I did. I remember it was like one of the first. This movie kind of reminded me of it, and like there is no happy ending. It's right. But I remember when I was younger, it was kind of like one of the first movies I'd seen like that, where it's like, that's fucked up, like they win, like right. There's no ramifications, and so as I've gotten older, I've on different rewatches, I appreciate it more. But it was just, I wasn't used to that when I first saw it, so that fucked me up. I was, there's no happy ending, but I've grown to appreciate it.
what's cool is the way I understand it. It's like a shot for shot remake. So maybe the best way to do it would we'll just review the remake sometime in the not too distant future. Yeah, we did it on a Sunday a few weeks ago. We did the original, which is
have you seen the
remake? No,
Yeah.
no, but it's directed by the same dude.
Oh,
so he just made the same fucking movie, like almost exactly with different actors over here. So it's just maybe it would be interesting to just do the
Double
remake,
feature?
or you know what, we can do one. You can watch whatever fucking one you want. we'll review it and talk about it that way. But to carry on, we did the Ritual for UK. Speak No Evil. We're gonna do that one fucking again from Denmark. I love that movie. Eric and Nick fucking hated it. It was very reminiscent of The Invitation, thematically and just like what the movie's like in a way. Pan's Labyrinth last week, fucking fire, and we wrapped it up with Martyrs. So since Robbie, are you there? Robbie's not there.
It's P.
Fable. Do you have any? I'm gonna pull up a list right here, like the list that I was using of movies that we didn't use for Summer Abroad. But we're gonna do some rapid fire foreign horror recommendations. Any of you guys in the chat, if you have recommendations, Inja, you might have one called Pandemonium down there for stuff that we should either review in the future or possibly do next year if and when we do Summer Abroad next year. So Fable, go ahead and give me any one or two, whatever the fuck you want to do. Any recommendations of horror?
I love Korean movies. I'm starting of late to feel like they're like the top dogs in this movie thing, and whatever genre you want to go to. So we got to do Train to Busan, man.
Hell
we
yeah.
got to do Train to Busan, and I'd love to do its sequel, Peninsula, which nobody talks about, but it's directed by the same guy. It's a sequel to Train to Busan. So yeah.
Have you real quick? Have you seen what's the prequel? There's an animated prequel that is even higher rated than Peninsula.
The Soul, I think it's called.
Yes, Soul Station.
Soul Station.
That one I never seen, but I would love to see. Yeah, we could do.
That's a great rec.
I'd love to have a Korean thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, for sure, 1000%. Whenever we do the next Zombie Fest, Train to Busan is going to be the last movie for Zombie Fest. But that does sound like a good double feature. The prequel and the sequel together sometime after that.
Right, so that would be cool. And just some honorables. Let the Right One In, I think deserves a good watch. And The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Fuck yeah!
A lot of people think that that's an American movie, but it's a Spanish movie that was released.
The one where she was like the ghost? Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yo,
that's that almost made the Horror Fest lineup. To me, like when I was doing research for foreign horror, it's one of the most celebrated and respected, and probably because of like it's produced by Del Toro, it's starring Nicole Kidman, it's got some big names attached. Yeah.
And Sal named another one. It was a Two Gun. I saw the Devil. I think that's Korean as well.
I was planning on. Oh no, I'm mixing that up with no one. Yeah, I saw The Devil. I hear about all the time. It's like a crime thrillery kind of a horror movie. But yeah, I hear about it. Like that's one of the big ones. Steph, my brother, what you got for me? Anything? I don't know if I even sent you this. Did I tell you that we were doing this? I think I did.
No, that was.
I thought I meant to. I'm sorry, bro.
Not sorry. I forget what it's called. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember. I'm not one for ghost movies, but Del Toro. Speaking of Del Toro, he directed it, like The Devil's Eyes or something like that.
Devil's Backbone.
The Devil's
Backbone is said to be like his sister film to Pan's Labyrinth. He made.
Fuck, that was one of my recommendations. You stole it. There you go.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, we could do that for sure.
Now is that like? I mean, I hear it's a sister film to Pan's Labyrinth. Is it like a fairy tale like that?
It's got similar themes to
okay.
Children in their imagination or being in fucked up situations and trying to cope being in fucked up situations.
But it's a ghost story first.
Yeah,
and foremost, for sure.
Yeah. It's not a fantasy,
which I love.
But it's also like Pan's Labyrinth, though. It's about war.
Okay.
Yep.
So the Civil War, because it's a little bit before.
It's been a while since I've seen that one, but yeah, it was good. I remember I liked it.
I'm gonna try and sound like still. Yeah, it's about. I think it took place a few years before Franco's regime took over. Yeah. Right. Link, you got any more before we send it to Robbie?
Tell
me about Pandemonium. Tell me about this film. I thought you were the one that recommended that to Inja. This is the movie that she keeps telling me I need to watch it. Maybe I'm fucking up the name of it.
I when she was telling me about it, I was thinking of that one movie with Ben Foster where he's on the spaceship and shit fighting those Pandorum or
Pandorum?
whatever. Yeah, I was getting that confused with Pandemonium. So
I thought this was something you had recommended to her. Okay, I guess I'm confused on it. She's gonna have to tell me again, and you and I are gonna review this.
Maybe it is. Maybe Steph's like, Inja, watch Pandorum, and she watched Pandemonium.
That could very well be it. All right. Well, Robbie, what do you got for me, my brother?
Well, Steph stole the Devil's Backbone because you already did Pan's Labyrinth, so that was another one. But all right, let's go to our neighbors up north, Canada. No Canada
baby.
representation.
Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't do any Southern Hemisphere representation either. This was very Euro-Asia focused.
Well, so is mine, but we'll figure it out. For Canada, My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the best Canadian films of all time, Black Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Right?
One of my favorites.
There
Canadian.
You go. Oh,
Canadian.
Yeah. And anything by David Cronenberg.
Or Brandon Cronenberg.
Right? Scanners and fucking all that shit. All right. Also from Del Toro, a Mexican film, is Kronos. Kronos is worth checking out.
Hell yeah.
Kronos is good. Let's go to Italy. You know I love Italy. I'm not going to linger too long here, but Tenebrae by Dario Argento is one of, like, Suspiria is the shit, but we already did that. Deep Res the shit, but we're just wait. Tenebrae. Do not sleep on this fucking movie. Another one from Italy that I love is The Beyond by Lucio Fulci.
Yeah, buddy.
Which we covered on March Madness on PCP Movie Night.
A zombie-ish film.
Spain, watch Pieces.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, you know what? I'm so pissed off that had been on my like want list on Amazon forever. I almost bought it 1,000 times, but it's always streaming on Peacock for free. And it just sold out. Now it's like $45-$50 to get. But
sucks to be
I know.
You
got the slip? You got the slip too?
Slip? Yeah, I got the slip, dude. It comes with the fucking CD, with the fucking scope, everything, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset with myself.
Let's go over to Japan. Yeah. House. The 70s House.
You got that too.
I've been telling Verno for that one for
this movie's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Man, that movie's wild. Audition. One of my favorite Japanese horror movies. My favorite Japanese horror movie is Audition.
Loved it.
Check that out.
Two Gun Pedro saying The Wailing. I think that's from Japan.
Oh, yeah. This is one we covered. So Audition, I think we covered 2 years ago on Horror Fest on PCP Movie Night. And last year we covered Ju-On. This is the original The Grudge.
I have yet to see that.
Fantastic movie. But the one I want to leave you with is something that not a lot of people talk about. It's a Danish film. It's a silent film. And it's one of the creepiest fucking films visually I've ever fucking seen. Vampire.
Yeah.
Really?
Right there. Yes. This movie is fucked. Like it's not Martyrs, okay? But it is very, very creepy. You think like Nosferatu can be creepy. There's something alien and not of our experience about a silent film. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Fuck, even Metropolis is a creepy film to me. Right? But
inspiration for the RoboCop outfit, by the way.
Yeah, it is. But this one fucking really takes the cake. Like
what year
Vampire
is this?
Is amazing. It came out in 1932.
Okay. Well, I will just say right now, I'm pretty fucking sure I'll go ahead and announce it for the 7 of you that are here right now. January is going to be Fang Fest here on Blood Splatter Chatter. So we're going to be picking up about 5 or 6 of the most influential vampire flicks. I was planning on starting with Nosferatu. What do you think right now, Rockin' Around? If I were to put you on the spot,
Nosferatu is more important because it came before.
Yeah, kind of got to.
This is the same year that Dracula came out, the Todd Browning Dracula. But I'm telling y'all, this is a better film than Nosferatu.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll definitely keep that.
Nosferatu also not only for its significance, but like makeup effects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And just so pumped for the Robert Eggers one about to come out. Is going to be fucking dope. I hope
coming out. Hopefully, if it comes out this time when the fuck they're saying it comes out,
Christmas.
It comes out right before Fang Fest.
It's my new favorite Christmas movie, bro. So yeah.
All right, hell yeah.
Oh,
well,
one more. Vampire movies, a Swedish film. Let the Right One In. I don't own it, but y'all should watch it.
That was 100% going to be on during Fang Fest. That was almost on that was going to be like the finale to Summer Abroad before I was like, whoa, hold up. I got this other thing coming up. So speaking of other things coming up, it is dropping today. I think this movie just came out today. Long Legs, starring Nicolas Cage, is sitting right now with a 92% on Rotten Tomato, a 90% Google user rating, 7.7 on IMDb. People are talking. People are calling it the Silence of the Lambs of 2024. So I'm going to the theater and see this. I know Stu is going.
Yeah, I heard it. Good
Link might be going. Fucking all you guys here. You're down, Link?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hell's
I was curious about this and then I didn't know. I didn't watch a trailer, but I was like, oh shit, Nicolas Cage is in this?
Yeah. Which he's got another movie coming out today called Arcadia on Shudder. So Nicolas Cage had 2 horror movies drop today.
With the 2 sons?
I don't know what that one's about. But the girl in this is the chick from It Follows. So that's kind of exciting too. I'm really looking forward. I'm going to go check this out. We're going to be reviewing it next Thursday here on the channel. And on Monday, Rockin' Robbie Billups continues Action Fest with this one. Tell the people.
Great movie.
Yeah, we are in the midst of Action Fest right now. Last Action Hero is the next movie, Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time, and I'm very excited to wash the taste of Martyrs out of my mouth for a little bit.
What give me the rest of the lineup for Action Fest, because I know I'm on the Dark Knight one. You're doing Blade as well between that?
Yeah, after Last Action Hero is Blade, one of the greatest films of all time, and then after that, the Dark Knight trilogy.
Hell yeah. And we've already done RoboCop, which I was there for. We did
RoboCop and the Die Hard franchise. So it's a good Action Fest. It's the best Action Fest lineup we've ever had. So far, each week we've delivered a movie that's all 5s across the panel.
Yeah.
We'll see if that continues. If anybody gives Blade less than a 5, I'm going to be fucking pissed. They'll never show up again for a PCP movie night. But the best part of Action Fest is when it wraps up. 2 weeks later, Horror Fest starts. Horror Fest starts August 19th on PCP movie night.
In the middle of summer.
The Paranormal Activity franchise. So get ready, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Watch all 7 of those bullshit movies suffer like we do so we can transcend into Horror Fest.
Have you watched any of them?
See something nobody's ever seen before after that.
I will be on that show, and I think Link, you're on that one as well?
Yep.
Last section?
No, Paranormal Activity franchise review.
Oh yeah, yes, that franchise. Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm
so surprised both of y'all were like, hell yeah, and I'm like, really?
Hey, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. All right, Mr. Fable, go ahead and we'll continue to promote this bad boy until it comes out. Which you're getting closer. You're 10 days from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Come join us Sunday, the 21st at 12 p.m. Eastern for Blaine Fable and his amazing friends, the UK Ireland massive special, where me and a couple of my brothers from across the pond, we hook up and we talk about comics and pop culture from the UK, and they get to, enlighten me a little bit about the scene over there. It's going to be a great time. A lot of their creators influenced our comics, so it's going to be fun. So yeah, come hang out if you guys aren't doing anything on the 21st, 12 p.m. Eastern. Oh, and our PCP brother Mark from Geeks Unleashed will be my co-host. I want to mention that.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna help me host the show. Hell yeah! So come hang out.
By the way, I hope they lose on Sunday.
Every time
I'm tired of interrupting our chat with fucking soccer news. It's soccer, motherfucker.
What the fuck is this? What is a football? What the fuck are they doing over there? The shorts look good though. Stephanopoulos, there was no Supreme Clientele. Are you guys doing like a makeup show, or are you guys just doing one again next Wednesday?
Yeah, just Wednesday. We're do this show next week, Wednesday, 9:30, Dr. Doom's Fan Club.
Boom. You heard it here first. Talking comics, new and old. That's what Stu likes to say, at least. All right, perfect, man. Well, I appreciate the shit out of all you guys. Appreciate you gentlemen in the chat. This was a fantastic show. This was a fantastic summer event. It was one of these things. You put it together, you're like, oh, I hope this goes well. And in my opinion, it went fucking swimmingly. What does he got to say? After 7, it really stops being paranormal and just becomes regular normal. This is the regular.
Dive into the ghost dimension. Apparently, I've only ever seen the first one, and I didn't like it, bro. I don't know why are we doing this? Because I bought the fucking Blu-ray set, bro.
I remember
because it was an impulsive fucking buy.
I remember that you were drunk.
I was drunk on Dylan's horror show, and I bought it, and so I was like, "Fuck it, we got to do it."
It was like $50, and you're like, "It was like nothing." I'm like, "That's $50, dude." Like this shit is streaming like all the time.
Now I'm like, "Fuck, I could use that $50." But
well, hey, can I tell you something before we wrap up? Last week, Fable's like, oh, Verno, that fucking Exorcist franchise review, that's gonna be a rough one. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. There's only one movie I don't like. And then it just dawned on me for whatever reason. Oh wait, I should shut up.
Yeah, there's only 2 good movies in that franchise, brother.
Well, I'll just say this.
And me and you are very forgiving of the new
very
one.
forgiving. I fucking thought for some reason, I'm like, there's only 4 of them. I forgot about all those other fucking movies that exist. There's like 7 or 8 of these things.
There's
right?
6. There's only 6. There's more Paranormal Activity movies than Exorcist movies.
Right, because it's harder to do. I thought there was 4 at the time. Then I realized, like, oh my fucking
here's the thing.
God,
Everybody that bitches at me about Paranormal Activity or Exorcist, I'm like, dude, we've been doing 13 movie franchises for Horror Fest. Calm down, man.
These are long ones, though.
We're taking it easy this year.
None of them are under 2 hours, I'm sure. I don't even know, but I guarantee you.
I swear, if there's a 2-hour fucking Paranormal Activity movie,
those are short. Those are short. The Exorcist one's not so much. All right, I appreciate the shit out of all you guys. Go check out Robbie on Monday, and I appreciate you. We'll see you.
That will be quite enough of that.